Morning. My name is Jennifer Bowen. My maiden name, for those of you who might recognize me, was Barber. My name does not match my face. My race does not match my ethnicity. I was adopted as a baby from South Korea, and I was raised by white parents. My father, an immigrant from New Zealand, and my mother, a native of New Jersey. I have one adoptive sister, also from South Korea, who joined our family when I was a toddler. For many years, my family did not consider race to be an issue. It was a topic rarely addressed and more often dismissed. Despite being truly exceptional parents, mine were ill-equipped to address racism because it had not been a part of their personal experiences. As an adult, independent of my family, race became a constant issue for which I was wholly unprepared. The ignorant comments, questions about whether I was part of the student exchange program, stories about others' experiences with Asian people, and jokes at my expense became the norm, as I no longer had my parents and family identity to provide a buffer. Walking into a room suddenly brought anxiety and discomfort. In order to cope with this new reality and mitigate some of my own fears and insecurities, I developed a defensive approach to my relationships with others. I was the first one to crack an Asian joke. I was the first one to chuckle about how affirmative action helped me with college and grad school acceptance and eventual employment. I was the first one to mention that I didn't fit the stereotype and was quite poor at math. I felt confident that if I was the first one to acknowledge my race, there was little anyone else could do to make me feel less than. I felt that I was winning by being the first to play. I am ashamed to admit that I thoughtlessly continued this practice until very recently. I have the privilege and luxury of being a member of the model minority, and prior to 2020, I never truly felt concern or fear for my physical safety. And my defense mechanism served me well in deflecting any verbal attacks and ignorant statements to which I had grown accustomed. However, the world has changed in so many ways over the past 18 months. We have all suffered together, and we have all felt a deep sense of loss. Coupled with that suffering and loss, I have experienced racism in a very real and very new way. I am now acutely aware that the silly questions, ignorant comments, and hurtful statements from years past have been replaced with physical attacks and violence on a community to which I belong. In light of recent anti-Asian sentiment and aggression, I acknowledge not only that racism is prevalent, but that I have actively subscribed to it. I am fearful that my children may bear witness to an attack on their mother. Sorry. I am heartbroken to know that their resemblance to me may cause them suffering and hurt from which my husband and I cannot protect them. And it pains me to know that my actions, my intentional, purposeful, sinful actions, have contributed to a society that may ultimately fail them. My transgressions are not newsworthy. They will not trend on social media. Many may feel they are rather benign, yet my personal sins have hurt others. What made entering a room easier for me likely made entering a room more difficult for another. At best, I have created uncomfortable situations. At worst, I have emboldened racist individuals and encouraged racism. But I can do better, and my children can know better. I repent and will know forgiveness. Together, we all need to admit that racism exists. Systemic racism exists. Inherent bias exists. And whether intentionally or unintentionally, we have all contributed to it. I say this not in an accusatory manner, but with shared guilt and remorse over my participation in this system. I have unfailing faith that we can change our future. I know that I have both given and received more love than hate throughout my lifetime, and I promise to choose my words more carefully and thoughtfully. I ask forgiveness for what I have done to contribute to a flawed system and imperfect society. And I choose to believe that all of us can rise up together, recognize our failings, and effect change.